Well, it was an exciting day for us, welcoming 19 new Sun Devils to our program. Quite a few of those guys are already here. I believe 5 of them are already enrolled and already going to work. Want to start off and thank my staff. Especially Donnie Yantis and the recruiting staff. Donnie has been those guys did a tremendous job, through this process, and to be able to come out of this thing, going into this class, we had a limited amount of seniors that graduated, so we didn't have a full slate to sign, but to come out of this thing with these 19 guys and to address the areas that we wanted to address. Just a couple of general statements about the class. The class was really mostly about explosiveness and speed and skill. We felt good about our depths, even though I think we signed one offensive lineman and one defensive lineman that could be an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, but right now it's on the defensive line. And we signed another interior defensive. We signed 2 interior defensive linemen and 1 offensive lineman. So this class main focus was on dynamic playmakers and pass rushers on defense. Obviously, defensive backs was the #1 priority in our entire class. And then, we had on offense, we only signed 7 players because 2 guys that are really a part of this class are Ryan Newsom and John Humphrey, who are 2 dynamic receivers that had to sit out this last year, but they counted as far as our numbers in this class. So those were 2 initials that we used for them that we feel really good about where we were at receiver. And then obviously speed, the quarterback position, we think we did some really special things there. I want to thank we've had our professors that donate their time on the weekends are just absolutely phenomenal. The people on campus, Alonzo Jones, our championship life team, just do a tremendous job, and we couldn't do this without them. So I want to thank our staff and our academic staff, our compliance staff, the professors on campus have just done a great job, and I'm really indebted to them. They just do a tremendous job of helping us in this process with these student athletes. So, that's something that's big. And then every year I talk about this. We couldn't do and travel the way we travel and be able to get to as many players as we get to without the help of Bill Kent. Is just a tremendous supporter that helps us with planes and transportation. And then Kent Bro is another great supporter that helped us as well this year. So I want to thank those guys. We couldn't do it without them. I love this process. I love recruiting. I love getting to go into the homes and getting to meet the families. And, I always say this every year. I really want to wish the young men that chose to go elsewhere the very best. And what a privilege it was for me to get to come into their house and get to spend time recruiting them. And I'm real excited about the 19 men that I'm going to introduce to you today. And one of the things that's really exciting to me about this class is this is a 3.06 recruiting class, GPA-wise. And so this is a scholar baller class that I'm fixing to introduce to you. I think we've got 4 players out of this class that are Barrett Honors College, will apply to Barrett's Honors College, which came here because of they're high academic achievers. And so overall-wise, 3.06, and that's something that, character, smart, discipline, tough is what we're about. And so this class, I think our staff, I'm really proud of the job that they did. So with that, I'll start to introduce each one of the players to you. We'll start off on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, defensive back was our first area, and Coach Patterson did a tremendous job of recruiting this young man, as well as Coach Russian. This young man was very highly sought after. Evan Fields out of Oklahoma City. Evan is a guy that can play multiple positions in our defensive backfield. He's a 4-star player. He was, probably one of the most dynamic players that we watched, and is going to be a tremendous, I think he's going to have a tremendous impact. A guy that can cover, guy that can, has got a great physicality, can play up around the line of scrimmage, as well as play, bump and run coverage man. So really a special player, tremendous mom. His mom's entrusted us with him, and he's a really special young man. So he's a guy that I wanted to start off with, and with our biggest need being defensive backs, this guy is the headliner for this group, and a group of 5 DBs. 3 of them are 4 stars, and guys that I think are going to be tremendous players for us. But Evan Fields is a guy I wanted to start off with, and a guy that's going to apply to Barrett's Honors College and getting it done on the field and in the classroom. And a guy that I'm really, really proud of, and I'm looking forward to great things from him next fall. Alex Perry, obviously you recognize the name. It's Armand's brother, but I tell you, I'm really, really proud of Alex, a 4-star player, a guy that has great physicality. A guy that does nothing but win championships. That's something that we really pride ourselves in too. We like guys that have been a part of championship football teams. And I don't know how many state championships are represented today with these 19 guys, but if you add it up, it's a whole bunch. So obviously he was a state champion. He's a guy that, possesses great physicality up around the ball, great confidence, great speed, and in an area of need for us at the cornerback position. So, Alex is a guy, a 4-star player, and a guy that we think is going to have a big impact for us. You look and see his record there in high school was pretty good. Okay, go ahead. KJ Jarrell. KJ, another 4-star player, Army All-American, as well as I believe Evan was an Army All-American as well. Or Evan played in with the USA game, right? He's one of those all-star games. But KJ is a guy that we project as being one of our 3 safety positions, and a guy that I think has great versatility, can cover. He's got great physicality and great speed, and you see he's got great size as well. So a guy that's only won 4 state championships in a row, I believe, and you can see what his numbers are. He's a guy that we were very, very excited when he decided to join our team. So you look at those 3 guys there. All 3 of those guys are 4-star players. Whatever that means to us, we thought they were guys that were special. This group of 5 is real special. These defensive backs we got coming in here. So KJ, we're excited. We think he's a guy that can be impactful for us as well, and very versatile and be able to play multiple positions. Next, Ty Thomas. Ty's a guy that, man, I just fell in love with watching his film. He's a guy that plays the game the way it should be played. His uncle was Zach Thomas, the great linebacker that played for the Dolphins for years, and just he plays just like his uncle. He plays with tremendous passion. He's another guy that's a Barrett's Honors College student. He's on campus right now, getting ready for spring ball, and he's a guy that had plenty of opportunities in the Big 12 Conference and chose to come with us, and a guy that fits what we're about, the values of our program. So he's a guy that we really I felt great about his versatility, and a guy that's going to be reminds me a lot of Jordan Simone. That type of player, a great special teams player, a guy that plays with tremendous passion. So Ty Thomas. Langston Frederick. Langston's a guy, probably one of the most underrated guys in our class. Obviously, we came on board. Coach Bennett was very instrumental in this. A young man here coming here, another 4-star prospect. So I guess 4 of the 5 are 4-star prospects. I thought only 3 of them were, but he's a guy that great tackler. He's obviously multiple position, but he'll play corner for us. a guy that's got great physicality up around the football, and a guy that is very physical in how he plays the game. Great tackler is what we love about Langston. And all 5 of these guys are guys that I really think will have an opportunity to play for us next year in a very, very critical year, and a critical year for us because of the amount of guys we had graduating at that position. So we're really excited about these defensive backs, and we wanted to start off with those guys. All right, we go to the linebackers. Start off with this young man, Tyler Johnson. Tyler is a guy that is probably as talented as anybody in our signing class, and probably one of the most dynamic players we've signed since I've been here. And what I mean by that, extremely versatile, a guy that could really play both sides of the football. He could be a guy that could play receiver and on offense, but he is going to play line up at devil backer for us, a guy that is a dynamic pass rusher, a 4-star player. He's one of the top, I think he's the number 2 ranked player in the state. Just a tremendous athlete, and a young man that I know every time Coach Patterson talks about Tyler, he gets excited. And he's a guy that'll be playing devil backer for us, and a guy that I think is going to be very impactful to what we're doing. And one of the things in this class we wanted to do is we wanted to improve our ability to rush the passer. So obviously the number 1 thing was coverage and eliminating big plays. And so the secondary was the number 1 focus. And then the number 2 focus on defense was impacting the quarterback. This young man's going to impact the quarterback. Okay, Kyle Soley. Kyle, another young man out of Swirl High School, a guy that we identified early. I think's got a tremendous upside at linebacker, a guy that's got great suddenness and speed and instinct. Another guy that could probably play, on both sides of the football. He's a guy that's very, very athletic. He's got a great frame, going to be going to provide great length and size to our linebacker position. And again, another guy that's a part of a state championship football team. Doug Suttle. Doug's a guy, tremendous story. You guys will love getting to know Doug. He's a guy that was a part of our class last year and obviously had some more academic work to do, and then has completed that. He was the number 1 defensive end, I think, in the country last year in junior college. I think he led the nation in quarterback sacks, very dynamic in his ability to rush the passer, and a guy that we think is going to have an immediate impact. Another guy that's already on campus and working, and will be a part of spring ball. You'll enjoy watching this young man, and tremendous heart, tremendous character, and his story is amazing, what he's been able to overcome to get to this point. And so I'm really, really proud of Doug Suttle. Shannon Foreman. Shannon's a young man that we found, and we were kind of surprised by to see. He was a guy that came on late. He had a big senior year. He had some things in his junior year, I think, that some injuries and things that held him out. But he is a dynamic 3 technique, a guy that looks in the mold of what you'd see like Will Sutton and Tayshawn Smallwood, that type of quick twitch. He's a guy that's out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where we've had a lot of success with players there, especially defensive linemen. And this is a guy that I think is another guy that's really underrated. He wound up getting a lot of offers late, but a guy that came out here and loved it. And I'm looking for great things from him. A big, powerful, and explosive 3 technique. He was his district MVP as well. Devontae Davison. Devontae's a young man that we had recruited and that wound up qualifying late. Young man from right here at Desert Ridge. He's a guy that I talked about earlier that could wind up playing offense or defense. Got tremendous size. He'll start off at nose tackle for us, a defensive tackle position. I think he was the number 2 ranked defensive tackle when he came out of high school. And he's a guy that we think's got a great promise, great size, great strength, explosive, very explosive guy to be at his size and can really run. All right, and then so that's the defensive guys, and just kind of going through those guys. We felt like the 11 guys that we signed, we wanted to be explosive and obviously meet our needs. I felt like we did that. obviously we graduated the best kicker in the country last year, and then to be able to stand up here today and be able to announce Brandon Ruiz to you, I couldn't be more excited. I know Coach Slocum's even more fired up than I am. But this guy here could have went anywhere in the country, #1 kicker in the country, a guy that's got big shoes to fill, but he's got the talent and the skill to do it. So looking for great things from Brandon, a guy that I think will be very, very impactful to our team. This young man's going to score a lot of points at Arizona State. Okay, offense. On offense, we talked about, we wanted to speed and explosiveness, what we wanted to add, and starting with the quarterback position. And Ryan Kelly's a young man that we had targeted several years ago, and a guy that we had tremendous talent, and it was a great fit for our system. A guy that's extremely smart and disciplined. He's a 4-star prospect. He was one of the higher-rated quarterbacks on the West Coast. He's an Under Armour All-American, and he's a guy that we think has a great promise here for us and bodes well for the future of our quarterback position. And so we're really excited. I'm really proud of Ryan and his leadership throughout this recruiting process. Never wavered once with us, and obviously at one time was committed to, committed to another school, and it wound up coming our way. I saved myself there. Sorry. All right. Obviously, you guys know about Blake. Really excited to add. I really think this quarterback class is probably, and you look at, we have had some really good quarterback classes here, but this is probably as good or maybe might be the best quarterback class that we've had. Blake's a guy that was a 5-star player coming out of high school, Elite 11, MVP, all the accolades, and obviously transferred to junior college and then transferred here from the SEC conference. So he's a guy that has a great pedigree, but we think fits in the mold of what we're about. And the character and the discipline that he has, a smart guy and a very athletic guy, a guy that can really move and run, and a guy that we're excited about him being here this spring. And he's here and ready to practice for spring ball and ready to compete at the quarterback position. So really, when you look at those two guys, it's hard to get two better quarterbacks than that in a class. Eno Benjamin, and really, if there was a headliner of our class on offense, it's Eno Benjamin. This guy does it all. He was the 5A Player of the Year in the state of Texas. To be able to get a young man out of Texas like this is pretty amazing. He's the #6 ranked running back in the nation, and he's a Barrett's Honors College student. So I mean, pretty amazing when you look at this young man and what he's all about. He's an Army All-American. A participant as well. This guy's dynamic. He's a guy that blew up late as far as people coming on him, and he remained committed to us and loyal to us through the whole process. Man, I mean, just a joy to be around. He's probably, if I gave an award for the guy that was kind of the leader in this class as far as just his spirit and his attitude, and he wanted to be a Sun Devil, and he was just been phenomenal through this process. And he's on campus and getting ready to come, compete this next fall. He's got a little ankle he's healing up from, but Eno Benjamin is going to do some fantastic things here at Arizona State, and he's a guy that. I think is when you look at the running back position, the two running backs we signed. Go and go to the next one. Eno being 6th ranked running back in the nation, and then Traylon being the number 10th ranked. So Traylon Smith out of Texas. We signed two pretty good running backs out of the state of Texas, and feel really good about it. Traylon's a guy that has tremendous explosiveness. He's number 10th ranked running back in the country. A guy that. Fits our system. We like to be, at the running back position, we like to have different types of runners and types of backs, and our guys got to be able to catch the football, and we're a very running back centered offense. And so you come here, you're going to put up yards, you're going to put up especially yards receiving as well. And so both of these backs are guys that we think are going to fit with an already talented backfield and make us even more explosive offensively. So Traylon Smith, we're excited about. Curtis Hodges. Curtis is a young man that we identified in the summer. This guy's 6'7". He gives you a added dimension out at wide receiver. He's got unbelievable potential. A guy that we think we identified last summer and wanted to be a Sun Devil, and a guy that we think has tremendous promise, and we think this guy can develop into being a very unique weapon on offense, and man, a very special young man that we're excited about having in this class. So we only signed one wide receiver because of the guys with Ryan and John that we had as transfers. So you take those 3 wide receivers, those 2 running backs, and those 2 quarterbacks. We felt like we did some good things offensively in our skill area and getting faster and more explosive. Mark Walton. Mark's a guy, this is one of those guys that's extremely underrated, a guy that he had some injury things. I think he lost 40 pounds his junior year. He's a guy that just come out of nowhere, that we found late in the process, and a guy that is going to be a tremendous player. You talking about his size. He's 6'5", almost 6'6". He's plays wide receiver, even played some safety, rushed off the edge for Yuma, and he played high school ball down at Yuma, and he's a guy that is going to line up and play tight end for us, and a guy that we found late and just exemplifies what we're all about as a program, and we're excited to have Mark join this class. Corey Stevens, man, this guy gets the Sun Devil Award. Corey's a guy that, we have kind of how we do our numbers as a program. We have so many numbers on offense, so many numbers on defense as far as scholarships, and then we have so many on special teams. And then we have 2 scholarships that are Coach Graham scholarships that are when I find guys that I just think are winners and guys that I just think you can't miss on. Corey Stevens is one of those guys. He's a Barrett Honors College student. He will apply for Barrett's Honors College. He is be a center guard for us, and a guy that loves and wants to be a Sun Devil. From the time I met him, this guy's a no-brainer. So he's a guy that he gets the Sun Devil Award. Corey's a special guy, and he's obviously the lone offensive lineman that we signed in this class. All right, that'll wrap up the introduction of this class. I can't say enough great things about Donnie Yantis and the job that he did and our staff. Obviously, there was lots of this last 3 weeks has been a challenging time. It always is. That's what January is. But it's been fun, and I'm really excited about our team. Our guys in our winter program right now are fired up, and I want to thank them. The people that are the best recruiters for us are our players, and they're the ones that host these guys when they come in. They give us a lot of feedback, and we're very particular about the young men that we bring here, that we want people that fit our program, and that it's a great honor and a privilege to be a Sun Devil. So I want to thank my players on this football team for the work that they spent in this recruiting process. Every time I sit down with a parent, I ask them, what's the best thing about your visit here? And every time they talk about our players. They talk about how transparent they are, and they talk about how honest they are, and talk about the culture that we have here. So we're really proud of that. If you have a question, raise your hand and we'll get a mic
to you. Todd, this class, 3 of the top 5 Arizona recruits and 9 total in Arizona. Obviously, that was a big emphasis. You mentioned Donnie Yantis earlier. Can you just talk about how successful you felt like you were and the importance of recruiting locally in this class?
I think that, day one, I talked to DJ the Foster the other day, and I remember, coming here and DJ trusting us. He had nothing to go on. And then we've built it. I think it's something that people, building a reputation, it doesn't take a month. It takes years. And we've built a reputation here. and a culture in this program that I think is very well respected. And that's our emphasis. That's our focus. We have to get the best and the brightest with the best character that fit Arizona State right here in this valley and in this state. And this has been a breakthrough year for us for that. And we'll take 9 of them every year. And I think that's been years of work, but I do think Donnie had a tremendous impact, as well as Conrad Hamilton and the guys that have been high school coaches here in Arizona, and they know that. I think you can say what you want to say. It's your actions that matter, and I think we've built some trust up with the here locally, and it paid off this year for us.
Todd, the fact that you signed 9 and said you'll take 9 every year, does that also say something about the quality of talent that's been improved in Arizona since you got here?
Yeah, I think I've only been here 5 years, and it's steadily gotten better every single year. I think the high school coaches do a tremendous job of coaching and preparing the players, and and it's competitive. There's a lot of people come in here and recruit, but on the same hand, I think it's a different day and time for Arizona State. And you look at the commitment that our program has made. You look at the things that are happening with our facilities. You look at the success. I think that when you can offer them everything that somebody outside of here can, it's a pretty obvious deal to stay here. And one of the things that I was really proud of this group is these guys talked about that, about the pride that this is Arizona State University. And that's something I think is big. And if you can put that many guys together, that really helps tremendously. And we're going to get the best and the brightest, the best character, the best fit us, wherever they're from. But we think we should start right here first. And the further I move away from this place, the more mistakes that you can make. And so this is going to be a special group, and I think they made great decision coming here, and their experience. When you listen to guys like DJ Foster and you look at the experience that N'Keal Harry had last year, this is a great place for the guys here in the state to play.
You touched on the desire to get better in the secondary. Didn't take any junior college kids, and not too many in the class overall, which has been different for this year. Can you just speak to some of the thought on that?
Yeah, it's really like, I really mean this, and we didn't, we went after them. We are not going to just go say we're going to recruit junior college guys or high school. I'm looking for the best and the brightest that best fit us. And certain years there's more at certain positions and what have you. But I love that. I love the junior college players. I love the high school players. I love one thing I like about junior college players is that they've taken the narrow path. They've taken a tough path, and there's a lot of different reasons. And a lot of the junior college players we've signed have 3 years and 4 to play 3 and stuff like that. But it was just one of those things. I mean, each year, whether it be geographically or whether it be junior college or high school, you go after the people that fit your culture and what you're about. And we had some junior college guys we were on, and we didn't get them. We're not going to just go sign a junior college guy to sign, because if I can have a guy here 5 years, I'd much rather have him 5 years. And so if you're going to sign a guy that's only going to be here 2 or 3 years, then they have to really, really be impactful. And so that's kind of how that works. And we haven't changed anything about our philosophy or how we do it. We're just recruiting the best and the brightest with the best character that fit us. And so that's kind of how it fell. And it's just like this year with the 9 players locally. That would be a luxury we would like to have, to be able to win and dominate most of the battles. And we didn't get them all here. We'd have liked that to have been 12, 13. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that was a pretty good year, really good year.
I got a couple for you. The first one is, what would you compare, or who would you compare Tyler Johnson to athletically, with him being so unique? And the other one is Evan Fields is somebody who had 14 Power 5 offers just in the last 60 days, and your staff was just on him. And what does that say about your staff being able to bring a guy like him?
Well, one, I think our guys, our whole program is about relationship. And one of the things that we do in recruiting is, you know, a lot of people are just kind of doing the same things. And we're really building relationships. And I think if you're genuine and you're honest and you're straightforward, you attract honest and straightforward people. And Coach Patterson did a tremendous job. He did a tremendous job of building a relationship with Evan. It helped the fact that his high school coach was a teammate of mine and Coach Patterson's. That helped. I think that helped build that trust. But that's just work. It's just work building that trust. And I don't think that's why he came here. I think he came here because Coach did a great job of building that relationship with him, as well as Coach Russian. TJ did a great job of building that relationship as well with him. So, you know, we team recruit. It's not one person or another, but, you know, I think it was the relationship is how we were able to win that and be able to get Evan to want to be a Sun Devil. And through that whole process, he never wavered one time. So, you know, it was. Now I did not like his little announcement deal. I about wrecked my truck when I don't know if y'all seen the little switch deal. That wasn't. I didn't. That was not something I enjoyed. Oh, Tyler Johnson. Tyler, hard to compare him to someone. You don't know who he is, but there's a guy named Charles Clay that I coached at the University of Tulsa. Charles rushed the passer for us on third down. He was our three-back on offense. I think he's all-pro tight end for the Buffalo Bills now. In the same mode of him, but this is a guy that has the guys that can rush the passer. There's a lot of teaching to it, but it's a gift, and he has that gift. I mean, he is a special athlete. He's a guy that. You know, we'll be able to do a lot of different things with him, and but he's, as far as big, powerful, long, strong, fast. I mean, a guy that big that's a 4'5" guy is just amazing. So he's a guy that I'm really excited about how we can utilize him. But it's hard to find someone that I could compare him to, you know, because he's really unique.
Todd, could you just talk a little about how this went while you were in this transition with the coaching changes, and then also just how you felt when you found out that Barnett was clear to play starting right at the beginning of the season?
Well, I mean, obviously we were happy for Blake and you know, in this transition for him to be able to be cleared and to be able to participate, and you know, so we were happy for him. That's you know, how I felt about that. What was the other question? Transition. Well, yeah, it was interesting. You know, recruiting doesn't stop. So I had to interview about 7 people and see about 7 recruits in 4 days. So, and when I interview somebody, you're talking about 5, 6, 7 hours. You know, and so it was a challenge. But it was something that you prepare for, you know, and it's not like one thing that, if you could ask me one thing that I'd like to change about college football, I would try to figure out how to change that, where recruiting is not happening at the exact same time you know, where you have every coaching change. But that's the way it is, and so obviously you got to be prepared for that. You can tell by how we responded and what we did and the caliber of coaches that we hired that we were prepared for that. And, you know, it's something that Coach Castee and myself work on, always, you know, trying to be proactive and thinking about, you know, where you're at. You never know exactly when those things are going to happen. But, you know, we were happy for Jay Norvell, you know, to get a head coaching job. That was really something that you want for your assistant coaches, and a guy that no one deserves it more than he does, a tremendous coach and did a tremendous job. But you know, that one kind of, you can get caught off guard sometime with that, but we did a great job, I think, and Tim does a great job of being organized when it comes to that. And, you know, I can't tell you how pleased I am with Rob Lyken and Josh Henson and Billy Napier. I think that, you know, what a dynamic team you're adding there with John Simon, and then, you know, obviously Coach Bennett and the need that we have to have a guy with his kind of experience that you know, that brings to helping you know, fix what we need to fix on defense, and a guy that, you know, Coach Patterson and myself learned under when we were younger, I think brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to our program. So, I feel like we've come out of that stronger, and I feel really good about it. On the same hand, there's no wholesale changes. We're looking to improve in everything that we're doing, but we recruited these players to run certain systems. As far as we're going to be a run, play, action, pass team on offense. We're going to be a spread, no huddle. We're going to be 11 personnel team. We're going to have 3 wide receivers most of the time. We're going to be a run, play, action, pass. We're not the terminology and all those things. I've been through, change is the one constant in college football. And so you got to be prepared for that. So for our players, the terminologies and things like that will be consistent. And we've got some great teachers. What I'm excited about, and I try to do, and Tim and I focus on when we have transition, is hiring great people and great teachers. And I know we did that, and we'll have to work hard. We'll work hard this spring to progress, but it'll be the least amount of change for our players as possible.
Todd, you talked about signing just one offensive lineman. Were you hoping to sign more, and is that a position you'll address post-signing day with graduate transfers, whatever other areas?
Yeah, one of the things that we feel really, really confident in our depth on the offensive line. We feel really good about that we were very young, but we were very, very confident in our depth. We would have liked to have signed a tackle, but we wanted the right tackle. We wanted we wanted to make sure that we didn't reach down at all because we have too many other needs. Defensive line, interior defensive tackle, we felt like that we needed to add 1 or 2 there. And so, we got, we signed 2 defensive tackles. One of them is a guy that could be a move over and play guard on offense. So, we graduated a couple offensive linemen. And we signed 1 and really got 1 we could slide over. And we're not done yet either. I mean, we signed Tim White, I think, in April one year. We're still looking, and recruiting is 12 months. It never stops. So, but the reason why we went after top guys, and we would have liked to have had a difference maker tackle. But we weren't going to, we felt like the ones we were at, those are the ones we were going to compete for, but we did not feel like that was a big priority as far as a must-have because we feel good about the depth there. But obviously, you guys know we were trying to sign another tackle.
Todd, Blake Barnett and Doug Settle, 2 guys from California who were at the top of your class there, but no high school recruits in California. Mm-hmm. You've talked about a gas tank away. It's been a traditional hotbed for ASU. Yep. Just your thoughts about just where that is right now.
Yeah, that's the way it fell, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact we signed 9 guys from Arizona. My deal is that, we're getting the guys that best fit what we're doing and what we're about. And we definitely, a gas tank away is the most critical area for us. It's our recruiting base. And if you look at that gas tank away, we did pretty good. So it's just the way it fell. It's not that we weren't competing and some of it had to do with the positions, like different years. Like, for example, we took 2 kids that are really in this recruiting class are Ryan Newsom and John Humphreys. Dynamic players now. So wide receiver was not a major priority, and there were a lot of wide receivers in Southern California. So and we competed for some of the top guys, but we did not. So that kind of affects that a little bit too. But my deal is it's a priority to us. It's not because we didn't have people in there. We got 6, 7 guys recruiting in California. We got 9 guys in this state. So we work hard on our recruiting base. But if you ask me this, I can tell you that if I can sign 9 every year from Arizona, that's Arizona is more important than anywhere else as far as signing players. But that's just kind of the way it fell. I mean,
Coach, the early signing period, not only for mid-year transfers, but just for high school prospects in general, something that's been talked about for a lot of years, and after the last coaching convention, looks like you might be closer than ever for that being implementing. When you see all the battles that you went through recruiting, are you a proponent of that early signing period? I mean, when you look at this class?
Well, every year is different, but some of the I'd like to choose on which one I get to. Yeah, I want to sign these guys, but then I want to keep going on these other ones. But no, I think the biggest thing that we ought to keep in mind, recruiting is not a 50-50 endeavor. It's not equal player to coaching staff. These coaching staffs, we've got a lot of people that research and, diagnose and evaluate and do all these things to protect our interest. And the players have very little that protects their interest. And so I always tell young men, hey, you need to make sure you ask questions, make sure you do your research. But we also should do things from a rule standpoint, I think, that protects their interest. And I think if they move that up, I'm fine with the December deal. But also, too, I think kids ought to be able to take official visits sooner and not impact the school year either. So, most of the players are really pretty much I don't want to say pressured, but there's a lot of peer pressure to commit by September 1st. And you can't even take official visit then. And I think that's some of the things they're looking at as well. And I'd like to see it where they could take official visits in June. And that way, a kid can, I don't advise any young man to make a commitment to a place he's never seen. And then you talk about the cost that it costs the parents to come unofficially. That's a challenge. So I'm for that, but I really look at it. I'm an old high school football coach, so I look at what's in the best interest of the recruit too, because it's something. I always tell them that it's not a time they get recruiting figured out, it's over with, and it's so very important. It's one of the most important decisions of their life, and so when it comes to the rules, I think that's something I hope we'll keep in mind. It's protecting the player's interest.
How important was Donnie Antis and all his connections here in Arizona to finding guys who you said were under the radar, like Mark Walton or DJ Davidson?
Well, Donnie is really, I'll tell you, Donnie's value is just his energy, his focus, his passion. A recruiting coordinator, it's interesting. I don't think people really realize what the job is. A recruiting coordinator can't leave the building. Okay, we were a coach down, so. We were able to put people on the road, but they never leave the building. Their job is to really organize and support the 9 recruiters and the head coach that are going out. And Donnie has just been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, when Coach Cassidy, myself, and Gene went through that process, we couldn't have hired a better person. He's just been, and he's just getting started. He's really just recruiting is about diligence. It's about passion. It's about being diligent. It's not about having some great salesman, because you reap what you sow. You're not going to hide from how you do things. And so Donnie's he's been tremendous. I couldn't say enough about him. He's helped me tremendously. Anytime, one of the things that we do that I think you have to do nowadays, because of how much change there is in college football, is I am the lead recruiter. And for me to do that, Donnie has been unbelievable at helping me be diligent in doing that and making sure every day he's wearing me out. And so he's been the MVP of this deal as far as I'm concerned, as well as the coaches. The coaches are out there, hitting the road, and anytime you have any type of, when you got a kid committed and anything changes, then everybody attacks that and all that. So you better have been proactive. If not, then you're going to be reacting. So that's kind of how it all works. But Donnie's been tremendous.
Anyone else? One last one.
You're speaking pretty highly of the secondary that you're bringing in. How many of those guys do you see really making an impact right away?
Well, I think that all 5 of those guys will compete. You got basically 15 players in the secondary. Most people will carry 14 to 16 players. Usually people will carry 8 corners. and then 7 or 8 safeties based on their scheme. So we signed 5, which is a third. So those guys will, and I think the talent level that those guys are at, they'll be in the 2 deep competing to play. Most of them will be. So I think they got a good chance to play.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.